driving working class people away from the neighborhoods they grew up in. 18 million households are spending 50% or more of their limited incomes on rent and mortgages. And millions of other Americans are worried about being evicted and thrown out of their apartments or their homes. Unbelievably, in the United States of America during this last year, we have seen working families all across this country, including my own city of Burlington, Vermont, waiting in car lines for emergency food packages to feed their families. It was really stunning to me. Within a mile of where I live, long line of cars of people who have never been in this position before, having to get emergency food packages to feed their kids. In terms of education, millions of our young people, including my 7 grandchildren, have been forced to miss class because of the pandemic and the unprecedented disruption of education in this country. And think what that means to the young people, not only in their loss of academic credit, but in their isolation, their inability to be with their friends. And a lot of kids are suffering today in so many ways because of that. And let's be frank, this past year has been by far the worst and most painful year in the modern history of our country. That's been the simple reality. But in the midst of all that, another point that I want to make to you, it's important that you know this, is that not everybody has been hurting in this country. While tens of millions of Americans have been living in economic desperation, the wealthiest people in this country have become obscenely richer. And it's important that we understand that. During this horrific pandemic, 650 billionaires in America, it's not a lot of people, it's less than the number of people probably who are here right now. 650 billionaires have seen their wealth increase by more than $1 trillion. And again, we don't talk about this for obvious reasons. You don't talk about it in the media. We don't talk about it in Congress. But we have a worse level of income and wealth inequality today than we've had since the 1920s. In America today, 2 people now own more wealth than the bottom 40% of our nation, while the top 1% now owns more wealth than the bottom 92%. Got that? 1% owns more wealth than the bottom 92%, and that gap between the very, very rich and everybody else is growing wider. Brothers and sisters, this is a pivotal moment in American history, and the decisions we make now will impact the future of this planet and the future of our kids and our grandchildren. In the coming months, we have a fundamental decision to make. We have it to make it in Congress. We have it to make it in Louisville, in Burlington, all over this country. Will we create a government, an economy, and a society that works for all of us and not just the 1%? Or will we continue the drift toward oligarchy and authoritarianism, in which a small number of incredibly wealthy and powerful billionaires own and control a significant part of the economy and exert enormous influence over the political life of our country? That is the fundamental question of our time, and you and I know how we've got to answer that question.